Good day, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Realtor Mindset. I'm your host, Vincent D. Mella. Today, we're just going to talk briefly about the NAR settlement and what that means for everybody in the marketplace for buyers, first-time home buyers, and real estate agents. So far, again, I've mentioned this in my previous broadcasts. This is a bit of a case study. We haven't seen anything like this in this industry. I don't think we've seen anything like this in any other industry, to be honest with you. So here it is. NAR settled for in the neighborhood of $400 million on the lawsuit about buyer's agency compensation. The initial lawsuit, the Stitzer-Burnett case, stated that the seller of the home was not provided information that part of the commission would go towards the buyer's agent. Typically, you have two agents on a real estate transaction. You have the listing agent, which represents the seller, and you have the buyer's agent, which represents the buyer. And typically, the commission comes from the seller to be paid and distributed to both agencies, both brokerages. So here we are today. NAR settled, and I believe it's coming July. They're requiring that no agency compensation is to be listed on the listing agreement. Oh my goodness. Well, what does this mean? And for buyers, what does this mean? Well, it could mean a couple of things. So we're going to see how this plays out, right? So it is a case study. First off, the listing agent will put on the listing agreement 0%. So if a buyer's agent brings a buyer to the listing, there has to be some sort of an agreement in place either prior to the showing or during the showing or right after. I think it should be prior to. So an agreement in place from, number one, the buyer. The buyer is going to sign a disclosure form to the buyer's agent stating, look, if there's zero compensation here, my brokerage charges, let's just say a number, 2%, okay? And the buyer would have to sign that agreement. If we enter into a contract and we close, there would be a commission agreement payable at the closing table for that amount. That's one way this could be handled. Another way this could be handled is if the seller and or the seller's agent agrees to provide commission from the sale. Now that has not been made factual yet. The only thing right now that they're stating is that it cannot be on the listing agreement. Okay, so if there's zero on the listing agreement, but there is an agreement ahead of time prior to an agent showing the property to a buyer that, hey, look, you bring a buyer, we put a deal together, you're going to get your 2%, then that agreement will be in place. So these are just separate, in my opinion, disclosures that would have to be signed prior to showing a property to make sure that a buyer's agent gets compensated properly. Because there's a couple things I know about working in the marketplace. Number one, buyers want representation. Buyers typically do not want to work with the listing agent. It can happen, it does happen, and some people are very happy with that transaction. Congratulations. Most of the buyers that I meet in the marketplace, they want their own representative. It's the largest purchase of their life. They want to have somebody that's representing their best interests instead of working for the seller. Okay. And then also, this could be something that the buyer would have to pay out of their pocket. So, along with your down payment and your closing costs, you'll also have to come up with another 2% to pay for your agent. So, the old way of doing business, really the buyer paid for everything, right? If it was a listing for 5% and the listing agent got 2.5% and the buyer's agent got 2.5%, that money came off the top of the purchase price, and the purchase price is what the buyer is actually paying for. So I know it gets complicated when you're dealing with numbers. I'm a numbers guy, so it's kind of like second nature to me. So give me a holler, let me know. Drop your thoughts in the comments, please. And again, very interesting case study. I will be sitting with one of my bank attorneys this coming week to discuss this matter further. So please stay tuned. We're going to have some more information, lively discussion. And thank you so much for watching today's episode. I love you all and enjoy the getting warmer spring day here in New York. Should be the second to last broadcast for March of 2024. Take care, everybody.